Imagine a vast jungle completely paralyzed by fear. A ferocious lion ruled this territory, maintaining total authority through absolute, unrelenting terror. This chart illustrates the stark reality of the lion's consumption. It shows a steady, irreversible drop in the jungle's population. To satisfy his hunger, the predator demanded exactly one animal sacrifice every single day, turning survival into a ruthless countdown. The psychological toll of this daily quota was devastating. The remaining prey animals lived in a constant state of agonizing suspense, helplessly waiting as their numbers dwindled and their inevitable turn approached. It was an utterly hopeless situation. No animal in the ecosystem possessed the physical mass, the claws, or the strength to directly challenge the king. Brute strength had established a mathematical certainty of death. The animals were facing a problem that physical power simply could not solve. Then, the order arrived for a clever little hare. His scheduled day to be eaten had finally come. The biological mismatch was extreme. You have a massive apex predator built for explosive physical violence, stacked against the tiny, defenseless anatomy of a hare. But the hare chose to reject the standard path of surrender. He decided to meet the lion's physical threat with his own intellect. If the hare was going to survive a situation where physical victory was impossible, he would have to find a way to make the lion's strength irrelevant. The hare's first tactical move was incredibly subtle. He deliberately took a very long time to reach the den. He weaponized delay to intentionally frustrate his predator. As the hours stretched on, the lion's fury escalated. The king of the jungle possessed raw physical power, but absolutely zero emotional regulation. When the hare finally arrived, he maintained a remarkably calm demeanor. He used simple, highly respectful language to disarm the raging beast. Then he deployed the core deception. The hare fabricated a story about encountering another massive lion on the way, a rival who claimed to be the true ruler of the jungle. This specific lie was a precision strike against the lion's psychology. It directly targeted the tyrant's pride and his deep insecurity regarding his absolute dominance over the territory. By framing a fictitious threat, the hare successfully turned the lion's massive ego and extreme impatience into a glaring vulnerability, ripe for exploitation. The lion's reaction was entirely predictable. Consumed by blind rage, he growled and immediately demanded a physical confrontation with his imaginary opponent. This vector map traces the exact spatial journey the hare orchestrated. He deliberately guided the furious lion away from his familiar den, navigating through the jungle to an isolated target, a deep well. Rotating the map into a cross-section reveals the trap's structural physics. It's a steep vertical shaft, dropping straight down, ending in perfectly still, highly reflective water. Arriving at the edge, the hare paused. He delivered his final instruction, pointing downward and telling the lion that his prey dwelled right beneath them. Ultimate physical power is easily led to its own destruction, provided it lacks the vision to see a trap forming in plain sight. The lion crept to the vertical edge and looked down into the dark water. Here we see a catastrophic cognitive failure. Astounded and blinded by his own rage, the lion failed to recognize his reflection. He perceived his own image as the literal, roaring rival staring back at him. He fully committed his brute strength, leaping downward into the confined shaft to fight the illusion. The impact led instantly to his demise. Unchecked aggression, when weaponized against itself, inevitably results in total self-destruction. The immediate aftermath brought permanent elimination of the tyrant. Safety suddenly returned to the entire jungle ecosystem. The hare returned to the kingdom. He hadn't grown an inch taller or any stronger, but he had single-handedly dismantled the system that threatened them all. This narrative demonstrates a universal law of leverage. Intelligence is a uniquely scalable weapon, highly capable of neutralizing any amount of physical force. No matter how massive or terrifying a problem may seem, a sharp and clever mind is the ultimate evolutionary advantage over brute strength.